Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting, fantastic episode on the Unleashing Potentials podcast. My name is Bernadette Desir, and I'm your host. And today's special guest is Michel O'Hare. Is that how you pronounce the last name?
Yeah.
Oh, I got it right. First try. Wow. I'm proud of myself. That's so cool. Michel, where are you tuning in from?
Just outside of Asheville, North Carolina. Yeah.
Okay, is it cold there?
Yeah, I live on a mountain.
Well, it'll be cold there.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, welcome to the podcast. Happy to have you
Thank you.
here.
Happy
Yeah,
to be here.
yeah. Michel, can you start by telling us who you are and what you do?
Well, I'm Michelle, and let's see, what do I do? I help people with their inner healing on a daily basis. And I use two different modalities, which are body talk and internal family systems therapy.
Oh, you tackle the most important ones. Wow.
I want to be efficient and I just want to come at it at all angles and get to the root. I don't want to mess around.
Yeah, I love that. Michel, can you take us back to where you experience the things that you're teaching your clients, whether it's through childhood or trauma? What led you to do what you're doing?
Mm. I feel like my whole life has been like preparing me to be able to sit here and sit with people and their pain and
Mhm.
to not shy away from it and just to be like a presence of compassion. And it's like I went through abuse, sexual, psychological, physical, all through childhood. I was isolated whenever I would tell, and try to reach out for help. And I feel like I was like trapped, kind of like in a scary horror movie all through my childhood.
Mhm.
And it's like it just continued, in that tempo of abuse. First marriage was very abusive, and I went into the army, and then after that, like I became an expert drug addict. And it's like just experiencing every horror and every emotion and thing that you can really face as a human being.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, I've experienced a lot of loss in my life as well.
Mhm.
My mother died of brain cancer, glioblastoma,
Mhm.
and my dad died before that of hepatitis B.
Mhm.
And then like a few years later, my son committed suicide. He's my firstborn, and it's amazing. It's like you have to hit your bottom. It seems like before you really can heal.
Mhm.
Because the ego is so tenacious,
Mhm.
and it's like you have to be at that place of okay.
Yeah.
What do I got to do? Just tell me what to do and I'll do it, and
Mhm.
it's amazing these last two, my mother dying and my son dying were actually the things that really prepared me and put me in the direction of facilitating healing for others.
Wow. Where should we start? Because you just,
Right.
let's start somewhere. It's better than nothing. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry for the loss of your son. Even anyone
Thank you.
saying sorry, that's not gonna remove the pain you felt or still feel or the void. But I honor you. I honor your heart, the being that you are, for being authentic, for being open, for realizing that you can help others heal through your own pain and through your
Yeah.
own story. And it takes a very strong person to do that. And that's what I can see already from hearing your story and from you sharing. Um, it's funny because we're just talking about a live I'm about to do on grief and grieving.
Mm.
And I'm looking forward to connecting you and to get it done as well, to share anything you'd like. When it comes to grief and grieving or losses, What would you say to those like you who have experienced so much of it in life?
Mm. I would say to not shove it down, because a lot of times people say, oh, it's been a year. Oh, it's been 2 years. You should be over that. And a lot of times we compartmentalize it
Mhm,
and we put it away and we'll take it out at some times and then we put it back.
mhm,
And I know I did that because I went down a very dark spiral where I've just felt like I was falling and there's nothing to hold on to.
mhm,
And I had my husband telling me, come back to us.
mhm,
I had 3 other kids to take care of, and my husband was in nursing school.
mhm.
And the whole ship would go down if
Yeah.
I didn't show up. So I had to take Skylar and I had to put him in a box. I
Mhm,
had to put him over there. And I would say that you need to feel it and you need to honor exactly what you're going through. Go through all the steps. And honestly, doesn't they say, oh, this is the steps of grieving? No, you have your own authentic way of going through it.
yeah.
So I would honor that and allow yourself to allow the grief to move through your body.
Mhm.
And eventually, when that time comes, but eventually you do arrive at gratitude.
Yeah, yeah, that's so beautiful. Beautifully said. Yeah, because our first instinct is to shove it down, suppress
Mm.
it. And
Yes.
I always give this example. It's disgusting, but I don't care. It's like having a kitchen garbage, with the lid
Mm.
on. Doesn't matter how well the lid fits on there. Eventually, you got to take it out, or else the whole house
Right.
stinks. And I
Yes.
apply that to lots of different aspects in our life, and especially grief and grieving or losses or pain. We suppress it, and we think when we're suppressing it, we're healing or helping others, when really
Right.
it's more toxic.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah. Let's talk a little bit of what you do as a body talk practitioner. What is that?
The more I do it, the more I'm like, I have no idea what we're doing here.
Perfect. That's all right. Yeah.
It's consciousness based energy medicine.
Ooh.
And so it's my husband calls it Reiki with steroids.
Oh.
Yeah. So we tap into the person's subconscious and
Mhm,
we have like a chart of everything you could imagine within the body mind.
mhm, mhm,
And it's priority based. That's why I love it so much, because whatever is the priority is where we go. You could come in and say, I have cancer. We need to we may not even look at that or anything that looks like cancer related things, but you
mhm.
have to get to the other things that are ready to, come forth, be seen, and shift before you can, get to, the harder things.
Yeah.
Um, and it's beautiful. It's just energy gets stuck. And there's these different ways and different focus points, that we use that help to shift it out of anything that you can imagine. I mean, we do things like active memory that's like a way more effective than EMDR.
Yeah.
And anything from past life stuff to ancestral things. I mean, you
Mhm,
name it. Body talk, yeah, we'll
mhm.
find it.
Oh, oh, wow, that's really cool. I'm obsessed with past life regressions. I do them on myself. I
Mm,
don't I don't recommend it for people who don't know what they're doing. I don't know,
right.
just following my instinct. And I've seen some pretty shitty stuff, right? And
Me too.
I'm like, this is messed up.
Yeah.
Why do I go back to that? But can you talk about the importance of doing regressions? How can the past heal
Mm,
the present?
okay. It's because when we come into these lives and we're like, it's almost like someone's throwing rocks at us and we're like, what the F is going on here? Why is this happening to me? I'll just use mine for example. I felt like I had like a pedophile attractor beam on me my whole life. Well, what's really up with that?
Mhm.
So when we know from the, our other lives, because we're coming into this one with that pact with us.
Mm,
And so it helps us to have compassion for ourselves,
mhm,
to see, there's the opportunity to see our innocence, because I mean, human consciousness has continued to evolve, but it had to start somewhere.
mhm,
And so at different times, in our lives, what was a good idea at the time?
mhm,
What was our choices at the time? And where our consciousness level was, determine what decisions we were going to make.
mm,
So we see these themes, in our coming into this life. Well, it's just us learning, I'm just talking about things that we don't even know about. But what I think is we needed to experience that out, to let go of some of that stored in guilt and self-hatred and stuff like that for the things that we've done before,
mhm.
and to see what it feels like, and to live that out, and in order to, I don't know, cleanse
Yeah,
our soul,
yeah, yeah. And you do ancestral healing as well?
Oh yeah.
That's a whole other shit show. No, I mean that in the best way, because I'm from a very screwed up, dysfunctional family. I don't even know what it feels like to have a family or to be in a unit, right? Um,
Right.
because we carry so much of their crap without realizing it. Give me maybe one or two success stories, even from your own story, of
Mm.
how you had to clear that on a subconscious level.
Mm. So there was this one client who, it was a mixture. It was we're going to get a little weird here. So there can be ancestral burdens that also carry an entity aspect to it as well, that gets passed down through the generations. So
Mhm,
there was this belief system of, I am a terrible mother, I'm an incapable mother.
mm,
And so in this particular client session, great grandmother shows up,
mhm,
and she walked us through something that, her experience. And so she
mhm.
showed us that she had the children in the house, and she accidentally knocked over a candle, and all the kids burned inside.
Mm, wow.
And what's amazing is no one talks about great grandmother in that family.
Mm,
And yeah, and she was able to share that story, let go of her guilt and shame, and be witnessed.
mhm,
And then throughout, grandmother, mother, daughter,
mhm.
they were able to start having a better relationship when that was cleared.
Wow. That's a beautiful example, because maybe had she not gone to you, she may not have discovered that.
Maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah. How did it help her heal? Did she feel better about her current position as a mother, a partner?
Mm.
How did she heal from that point where you helped her?
She was able to have like a better relationship with her son. So feeling more grounded in that motherly role, because
Yeah.
there was like such a disconnect there.
Mhm,
And so when there's a disconnect, there's not that connection that you're feeling of, oh, you're my child. There's more of, oh my God, you're this thing that I have to shut up and feed, and that sort of thing. So the connection was there, and it's more of, son and mother.
mhm.
And they have been continuing to strengthen that bond over time.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Very, very
Yeah,
beautiful. Yeah.
it is really beautiful.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And also your internal family system practitioner. I know what each word individually mean. What is that?
Right.
I
Okay.
I don't know what you do with that. Can you tell us?
Mm. Okay. So if you think about your personality, it's different parts of your psyche. So your different parts of your psyche are always saying different things. It might sound like your voice, but it's like this one's like, I want to do this. No, I'd rather go watch a movie. I want to eat fish. No, I want to eat pizza. You know, so it's like this whole internal dialogue that's actually different parts of the psyche, i.e. the ego. And they seem to protect, they try to protect us from that big, you know, emotion, you know, from happening again. So if we're children and something terrible happens and we don't have someone there to help us sort through it, we internalize it. And so that's when the inner child is holding on to, I'm worthless, I'm shameful, I don't deserve to be loved, I'm shit. And so different parts of our psyche are protecting from that exploding and taking over the system.
Yeah.
So what we do is we guide people into their internal world, and you get to talk to them. And it's like, you know, because when we're going about in our day, it's like, this is who I am, this is who I am. Well, no, that isn't who you are. So you get space from that, and you get to listen to the people pleaser, the overachiever, you know, the workaholic, you know, those sorts of parts of us that are very active. And we get to find out like why they became what they are. What are they afraid would happen if they didn't do what they did, which usually leads us to the child part, which is called the exile, because it's exiled into the subconscious and the dark.
Ooh,
So
exile. Oh, that's interesting.
yes, yes. It is.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think you just described my inner child. I mean, I've been trying and yeah. I saw someone in the vision that they gave me of mine is that there was walls, they were up so high, probably still up, and they were not made of wood or feathers. It was steel, and you
Yeah.
get through. That's kind of where mine is. I think she's
Yes.
crawling up, but yeah, yeah. Wow.
Well, you know, those walls that are steel,
Mhm.
that's a protector that's keeping her in there. And so whenever the protector can feel good about who you are, Bernadette, and
Mhm.
that you can handle it, then the walls come down and then you get to witness that little girl. And that's what that kind of looks like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you talk about the ego. I would say mine is my worst and best friend, my worst enemy and my best friend. And it's
Right.
to find the balance when it's healthy. An example I always give is, you know, as mothers, we don't give our kids everything they want or everything they ask us.
Right.
Like, give me ice cream for breakfast or just stuff like that, right?
Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, it's just learning to say no and yes, and
Yeah.
like you said, healthy boundaries with the ego. In your opinion, when is it too far in terms of where the ego can lead us? When is it time to
Mm.
stop?
Oh, well, I mean, my path is disidentifying with the actual ego.
Mm,
Um, and so I don't know, I kind of see it as it's just doing what it's doing.
mhm, mhm,
And I mean, it's been doing this for millennia.
mhm. Yeah.
And so it's just like seeing the innocence of it.
Mhm,
I'm not saying I don't get pissed off at it because I do, because I'm not enlightened, but I would say that the more space that I've gotten from these parts, I can kind of feel when a part of is trying to take over.
mm,
And I can kind of see how my words change. It's like when different parts come up, they come up for different people and different situations and things like that. And you can kind of get a sense of, oh, okay, it's that part. Okay, that part's running the show. And I can say, not today.
yeah, that's awesome. You you also mentioned that you're a professional drug addiction, drug
That's
guy.
my humor.
Oh, okay, okay.
I
Um,
did it right.
that's funny. I've never heard it that way. That's really
Okay.
yeah. Tell us of your journey of your addiction. When did it start? When did you stop? And how are you healing and helping others from it?
Mm. So I started in 2002,
Mm,
and yeah, I just wanted to hide.
mm,
I didn't want to feel, yeah, I didn't want to feel anything. I wanted to hide. And yet at the same time, it's like I wanted to find love and I wanted to find acceptance and, all those normal things.
mhm.
Um, that is not the place to find it.
Yeah.
I I was a meth user, and I shot up. That's why I said I did it. I was an expert because I mean I did it to the fullest. And yeah, that was a really scary world because I ran into like the Mexican cartel, inner city gang members, outlaw motorcycle bikers, and I mean, like, you name it. I mean, I ended up, my little very innocent, naive self was just like going to all this evil, and these people just want to suck your soul through a straw.
Mhm.
And I wasn't very popular because I like to help people, and you don't do that there. That's like totally against the rules that you don't even know about.
Mm. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Um, what would you say to anyone who is trying to get clean?
Mm. I would say you have to change your phone number.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, don't don't keep any of the friends that you used to hang out with because you're leaving the door open a crack,
Mm, mhm,
because they're gonna try to hook you back in. It's almost like crabs. One crab tries to get out, the
mhm,
other crabs are always trying to pull it back down. And that is the way it is with addiction,
mhm.
uh, in those sorts of circles.
Yeah.
Um, I would say find other like-minded people. 12-step groups are good. Not all of them are equal, but it is a good energy field with other people that are trying to do the same thing.
Mhm, mhm.
Um, and if you relapse, don't beat yourself up about it. I mean, you're learning a new way of navigating life. And with anything, when we're developing new habits, we're going to go fall back into it a little bit, but we're going to keep going forward. So falling back doesn't mean that you screwed the whole damn thing up.
Mm. Yeah, yeah. Um, Thank you for sharing that. I
Welcome.
I have a heart for uh people that society outcast, if that makes sense.
Mm,
I'm an
yes.
I'm an outlaw. I'm one of them, right? Right, right. I have schizophrenia. The whole world will know eventually that I don't give a crap what they say or think about what I'm diagnosed with, right? And they
Yeah,
have all those labels that are attached to me, but they're not part of me. And
right.
I grew up in a very screwed up family and dysfunction. My dad
Yes.
passed 2020 from I think it was cancer or alcoholism. Um, is that people are not their past, they're not what happened to them. And I
Hmm.
think we get so attached at times to the labels. And
Yes.
that's why I appreciate you talking about your experiences, especially about drug addiction. Because as soon as someone starts, it's like, this is a bad person, throw that person away. When really
Right.
they're crying, screaming for help, and they're that's their way of coping. I'm not
That's true.
advertising for healthy drug addiction to do that kind of stuff. I'm just trying to say that there may be gold in the recycling bin or in different places to not treat people less than because we're sort of
Yeah,
there, right? Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. And what are some things that you continue to do to heal yourself, whether it's habit or uh, community work, and obviously the work that you're doing as well? How is that helping you?
Mm, every session that I do is healing because there's always something there for me because I'm paying attention and I want to know.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I let's see, I do meditation and I do contemplation throughout the day. So I'm paying attention to every sensation that's going on in my body so that nothing's suppressed.
Hmm.
And so I can let it go and not let it become some kind of canker sore, for later on.
Yeah.
I do this thing called A Course in Miracles.
Mm.
It's called ACIM. So that's part of my daily practice. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, just pay attention and just try to, my intention is to do the most loving thing that I can possibly do
Yeah.
throughout my day.
Yeah.
And if I
Yeah.
didn't, I kind of look at that at the end of the day and go, "Oh, okay, all right, that didn't turn out so well. We
Yeah.
can kind of switch that a little bit like this, and we can do that differently because I know that I'm going to get another opportunity to try it out again."
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Um, let's talk about the subconscious mind a little bit. I know we
Mm.
touch on it here and there. How can we not see the subconscious mind as this dark, dense place?
Mm.
Um, in my opinion, but I want to hear your opinion, is that we should see it as a teaching place instead of a scary place, because when we go inward in there is when we can pull out things and heal from it, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Mm. Well, I mean, we didn't give it a great name. We've nicknamed things the shadow and woo-hoo and all these kinds of things. If you could just imagine that in your subconscious, it's just, it's a little child in there.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when you can get some space, when you can see it as that, then it's not you right now that's having to go through it again or relive it or whatnot. It's just something that really just needs you to witness it
Mhm.
and help it to release what's being held
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah.
um and a lot of times like with IFS we reparent. There's a lot of things that we didn't get that a lot of people just think are normal things, like getting woken up in a nice way in the morning for school. I mean, wouldn't you have loved that? I know I would have.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. So when we reparent like our inner children, they get to enjoy like a regular going to school,
Mhm.
not having to take care of all the kids all day, be a kid, that sort of thing. So much of us just wanted to be able to be a kid and play,
Yeah.
you know, and we didn't get to do that. A lot of things, seem scary to the mind. There's that fear, oh my God, what is it going to be? What is it going to be? But like with any situation, when we go through it, we're always like, that wasn't so bad. It's like that even with the subconscious. It's really not so bad. It goes quicker because I mean we're going to be sitting with that stuff no matter what, and it's going to keep coming up, coming up, coming up, and we're going to keep reliving it. But if we just took the time to you know, take some careful attention and do the work that needed to be done, it's really
Mhm.
not that long, it's pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. What are your thoughts on therapy? Most people get freaked
Mm.
out, you know, like talking to people, and yeah, what are your thoughts?
Are you talking about like regular talk therapy?
That's a very good question. Sorry, when I ask questions, I just look at a mountain, it feels like. Let,
Oh, we're having a conversation. This is good.
yeah. Let's talk about therapy for trauma, for grief, for loss. There's so many types of help that people can get. For me, it's always
Right.
been trauma, loss, and mental health. Just maybe your experience with therapy and how it has helped you.
Okay. Well, I did try talk therapy, and honestly, my therapist couldn't even hold space for me.
Wow.
You know, I mean, they shared with me that they were having anxiety before seeing me because they didn't know what to say. I'm
Oh,
like, great. I feel like talk therapy can be good, but it's like momentarily,
wow.
because there's not really, you say things and then you feel that like instant, oh, that felt good to get off my chest. But as things go up, so
Mhm.
shall they come right back down. Because,
Mhm.
there's something you have to do, I say that lightly, do.
Yeah.
Um, when I was at my worst was when I found Body Talk.
Mm.
And that's how I honestly became, what I am today. Was these two therapies is what I used to heal my trauma.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, this shit works. Okay, this
Uh,
is this is what I want to do,
yeah.
um
Mhm.
but I learned how to hold my pain differently.
Mm.
And the more I got space from it, the more I could let go of what you were just saying a little bit ago, of letting go of my story. And this has to mean something about me. And this is who I am. And as I identify, I can talk to you today and tell you, oh, yeah, I went through abuse. I used to be a drug addict. I used to be this, but that was somebody else,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Um, let's talk about fear.
Okay.
Fear is like it's like a parasite, a virus. It just I'm sorry, it attacks so many uh things and people and places it's not supposed to.
Yeah.
But at
Oh,
times,
it's supposed to. It's
yeah,
doing what it's supposed to do.
yeah, yes, that's true. And I look at fear, there's healthy fear and unhealthy fear. And we
Right.
feed fear, we invite fear. There's so many aspects to it. But
Mm.
share with us your thought on fear in general.
Oh, fear. Fear is like the yeah, it's the kicker. It's what keeps us like from
Mhm.
doing anything. Um,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go somewhere else with that in a minute.
Mhm.
Fear, it's almost like this wall,
Mhm.
and it keeps us stopped.
Yeah.
And we're just, with anything, you can feel that like that weight on your chest, and it just keeps you there. You're
Mhm.
like, I want to do this, but you don't move, you don't do anything.
Mhm.
You have to decide at some point to just walk right through that shit.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. It's going to feel terrible. You're going to be having anxiety and you're sweating and then all that. It doesn't get easier until later. But at first, I mean, you're going to be feeling that. You're not going to be waiting for an invitation that says, here, you can pass through fear's door, unscathed. You have to go decide, all right, I'm freaking out. I'm not doing well, but I'm going to do this shit anyway.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's really what it takes. It's like, okay, I'm afraid, and just like honor that and just say, I'm feeling this so badly
Mhm.
and I'm going to do this thing.
Yeah. 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 Well, you just described my life. So the start of my
Mine
life.
too.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. With the podcast, I got it on my heart. Share your story. Share your story. I said, nope. And and I just getting it never stopped. It's like right there until I'm like, all right. So it's pretty bold, for any of us to make our stories public.
Yeah.
It takes a type of ridiculous courage that is so hard to find. Yeah, and I love the adrenaline rush the of fear of what it makes me feel, because it's teaching me. It keeps pushing me to the edge. It's like a teacher, and I love it. And I was talking to someone, I said, sink or swim, I just jump in. You know how, what is it called? Cold plunge? When people,
Right.
yeah, you know, I'm like, you can put your toes in. I just jump in there.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Get it over with.
Yeah. Yeah. Just get it done. Yeah. Yeah. That's kind of how I see fear. Yeah. Yeah. Um,
Can I say one more thing about fear?
yes. Yes. Go ahead.
Um, so with fear, like the darker energies and stuff, that's what it feeds off of,
Yes.
is fear and anger, actually.
Mm,
And so one of the things that I always teach people when I'm working with them, when it has to do with entities and such, is
mhm,
we take care of the fear first. And when
mhm,
there's no fear,
mhm,
then it has no power anymore, and it
mhm.
has to go.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I love you talking about entities. That may sound woo-woo to people, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I've experienced every aspect of the supernatural or the natural,
Right.
whatever they call it. I've experienced all of it, and it's true, they do feed off that,
Yeah,
and they know where to go. And I
they
think they
do.
use the materialistic world to activate certain things in us,
Oh yeah.
emotions and anger. And in my opinion, I think the best place they go is our weaknesses or past. That one,
Oh yeah.
I still struggle with that one. I'm healing from it, but you know what mom did, what dad did, what I didn't get, what I should have gotten. I'm like,
Right, right.
I'm still here, right? It didn't take me out. I'm still here. So there's a purpose and a reason behind it all.
Absolutely.
Hmm. Is there anything that we haven't covered that you'd like to touch on?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, okay. Uh, okay, okay. Yeah. So do you help women, men, just anybody who needs help?
Everybody, even animals.
Oh, do
Yeah.
tell. How do you help animals?
I do the body talk. I can't really do the IFS with the animals because they can't talk to me, like that.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I do energy work. I just started working on horses just a couple months ago, and I love it. They open their hearts just so easily, and because they don't have that prefrontal cortex thing going on, trauma passes really easily.
Mhm,
And I love to see their reactions when energy's moving and stuff. Their little lips go, and they do all kinds of stuff. And I'm just like, good job, good job.
mhm.
But it's really beautiful.
Yeah, I love animals, and excuse me, they have a different way of connecting to us.
Yes, they
Hmm.
do.
Yeah, yeah, that's really cool. Um, yeah, I'm just thinking of questions to ask.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think we've covered quite a bit. Of course, my throat is dry. At the moment, I have to talk.
You don't
Okay.
have any water?
Not not right here.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah, it's okay. We'll wrap up so I can go feed myself.
I just
Yeah.
want to say I do love your name because it is
Okay.
my one of my favorite saints' name,
Bernadette.
Bernadette.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah.
named after.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
nice.
I'm no saint though, but that's what I'm named after. Yeah, I love that name too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so where can my listeners find you and support the work that you do?
Mm, um, so my website's innerhealingclinic.com,
Mhm,
and I'm also on Instagram, Inner Healing Clinic.
mhm.
Yeah, that's it. And I have a YouTube channel too, Inner Healing Clinic. So make it really easy.
That's awesome. That's really cool. I have one last question for you, which I ask every guest.
Okay.
What is the meaning of life for you?
Ooh.
No
Ooh. Oh, Bernadette, I like that. Give me a sec.
worries. Take your time.
Oh man. Meaning of life. I feel like that we're learning how to be that great being again.
Mm. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
getting back to that greatness again, and to that the light in our hearts. I mean, that's really what we are. So
Mhm.
we're learning how to get back to that and to embody and just be that.
Mhm. Ooh, I love that. Well, Michelle, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Thank you.
sharing your heart with us, your story, and the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much for having me on here.
You're welcome.